Hello, YouTube. How are you today? Well, this topic is gonna start off my topic about marijuana and teenagers. And no, I'm not gonna come down on you teenagers. I'm coming down on the opposite side of the fence here for a change. Now, let me explain something first of all so we understand each other. I started smoking marijuana when I was 16 years old. I'm 56 years old now. And CBC came out, or sorry, the National came out, and I believe it's on CBC News as well. It says, how does pot affect the teenage brain? Okay. And here again, we have the news department coming out with, this sob story about, this teen so-called person that had his dreams fucked up because of marijuana. Well, I say bullshit to that. The government seems to be so concerned. Now, let me ask you something here now. The government wants to be so concerned about our teenagers and their brains. Okay? Now, it seems a little ironic to think about it this way when you think about fuck-ups in our society. Okay? What is the real thing, that as a society we should be so concerned about, that we should be stepping up to the plate and saying marijuana is going to harm the teenage brain? Well, let me point something out to the people that are, basically trying to control our everyday lives. For example, the government for years now has put a prohibition on marijuana. Now, the government has thrown thousands and thousands of people into jail, calling them criminals. And at the same time, the government for the last 20 years now has been ripping off the Canadian worker. Yes, the Canadian worker has been ripping off the Canadian worker because they have been taking funds out of the unemployment insurance fund and paying for their own little means, their own little gains, and etc., etc. You and I have been ripped off, okay, as Canadians by our Canadian government. And as it stands today, they're still throwing a good fuck into us by denying the funds to workers in a legitimate way. The other recourse on this is welfare. Once those funds are taken away or ended, your only recourse is welfare. Now, let me enlighten you on this a little bit. Most of you already know this. On unemployment insurance benefits, you pull in roughly about $1,700 a month. Roughly. Okay, depending on your pay thing. At least that's what I pull. Now, once those benefits run out, because there is no employment, and nobody at this point in time, including Mr. Trudeau, seems to understand the common worker, comes out with a bunch of bullshit. Oh, we're going to give extensions and blah, blah, blah. Well, that would be okay if those extensions were in place when they should have been and were useful. Another 5 weeks would have helped out all of us employees, or employees, to, lengthen it just that much more so that we could find employment. Right now in Canada, our oil industry is kind of fucked. Fort McMurray just had major fires. That's over 80,000 people there now. Not to mention how many people were already on the unemployment lists here on top of this. So, we have this big, massive problem, okay? When you come from $1,700 and zip, that's it. It goes to roughly $500-600, and most of that is chopped up in bills, and then you're left with $200. Oh, well, $200, but see, they only pay $30 a month for the phone, which is kind of useless for me because I'm out in a small town, and if I don't rig up some additional thing as far as the phone goes, I mean, I'm paying an astronomical amount, which would mean it would soak up that entire $200. So I'm on an internet phone line, which saves me immensely there. So I just have to have the internet, which costs me $60 a month. But welfare is only paying $30 a month, so I have to come up with another $20 there. So that takes out $20 out of that $200. So that leaves you with about $80, okay? Oh, or it's $180. But then I smoke, and they have jacked the price up on tobacco products, for example, from what used to be about, $5 a pack back when I was 13, 14 years old. Maybe it was even $3 a pack. Up to now $31 for a pouch of tobacco, which gives me the equivalent of about 3 packs, which is about $15 a pack. So I try to save a pack just by rolling my own. It cost me $31 a pouch, and I smoke. And basically, what I'm gonna shorten that up. I'm just gonna say that the $200 goes as far as maybe a couple of days, and then you're left with the rest of the month to fend on your own for whatever fucking thing you can come up with, which basically means you start to go into debt now. Okay? So, now getting back to the pot issue. Okay. I mean, the government is so concerned over all of our brains here. Our teenage brains with marijuana is going to affect you immensely. And so on and so on and so on. And all the other lies that they're coming out with is ridiculous. In fact, driving while smoking a joint doesn't impair you because it's not an impairment. I've been driving truck for 30 years, and some of those times, sure, but it wasn't an impairment to me. It didn't affect my driving, okay? But yet, they're going to say, and you're going to hear this more in the future. They're going to say, oh, that marijuana fucks your impairment up. That fucks you up. Nah, I don't believe that horse shit. But here's the thing. Depending on how they legalize this marijuana, and believe me, right now, they're trying to find out how they can best get a grip on it, so they're making a shitload of cash, okay? But once they figure that part out, the other part is they're going to come out with some other kind of legislation about smoking marijuana and driving. Another money ticket. Every time the federal government makes a move, trust me, it's a money ticket. It ain't shit, just a money ticket. Okay? The prohibition on marijuana made the fucking government money. The federal government money, along with provincial governments made money. You know how? By running our people through the justice system. There's your courts, your court staff, lawyers, judges, cops, and then in the jailhouses, that's $2,000 a day, something like that. I mean, it's billions, okay, costing us taxpayers billions of dollars to say that it's a drug war and we got to clean it up. You know, no, it ain't a drug war, people. It's a money grab, people, okay? And using us as citizens, I mean, we're citizens of Canada and US, using us as the dollar, okay? In other words, as you're putting those people through the system, that whole ugly system is able to kick back, you know? That's our tax dollars for you. Okay, that's the money grab. Okay? So people, are they really so concerned about our teenagers' brains? When here on the other side of the coin, when you really think about it and look at facts in a different way here as to what the hell is really going on, okay? Take, for example, the logbook that came out, okay? It's supposed to kind of reduce the accidents on the highway. Is it? No. The logbook, again, is a money grab. $390 for a logbook ticket in Ontario. Over $300. And it can be a signature. It could be a mistake. It can be, exactly, a little mistake. Now you tell me, what industry fines their personnel if they happen to make a mistake like that? A signature. Is it worth $300 and something? So I ask you, are we being, I mean, the role of the federal government was to help run the country, to run, our army, our us. It's supposed to organize, and, show a little control so that, we hold ourselves together as a nation. Okay? It wasn't meant. The federal government was not put together so that it could rape its own citizens year after year after year. Okay? That, to me, is not a government. That's a dictatorship in a sneaky way. You tell me, show me how many deaths there have been as a result of marijuana compared to the how many deaths there's been linked to alcohol or, things of that nature. There have been far less. In fact, I can't even know of maybe one death. I think maybe a bale of weed fell on a guy and he died that way. But I mean, other than that, I'm not aware of any other deaths caused as a result of smoking marijuana. So why on earth would it ever have been under the prohibition? As I said, it was so they could put people through the jail system, mark them as a criminal, and so on. Okay, and in doing so, you've got this justice system now making money because the money's coming from you through the government. It's us taxpayers are paid. It's you know what I'm saying? It's a loop. It's a circle here, you know. And we're the ones getting fucked because we're the ones in the joint. I mean, if we were smoking a joint, fuck. Excuse me, I had to drink a drink there. My mouth was getting dry. So this thing again about them being so concerned over our teenagers' brains regarding marijuana, people, it's not there's any concern here. The only concern here is to possibly keep up a bit of a black market and a bit of a thing going through the justice system. Okay? The only way to come out of this one for the government would be to simply legalize it and end the prohibition. That's it. That's all. Stop making excuses, because I guarantee you, if a teenager wants to go out and smoke a fucking joint, that's what they're going to fucking do. And there ain't nothing going to stop them. Nothing. You're only going to fucking create another fucking black market targeting our teenagers by putting in a law saying that marijuana is as bad as alcohol. Okay, you got a big smoke screen going on here, federal government. You got a big smoke screen going on here talking all this shit. Okay? It's time, it's about time the federal government put itself in check before you entirely rape and ruin this country. The same in the U.S. You're raping and pillaging your citizens. It's sickening. And we're going to wake up. As time goes on, okay, we have got to wake up, people, okay? Enough is enough. We've got cops in the States shooting people and I mean, fuck. Look at Lavoy Finicum, good example, okay? And those of you that don't know about Lavoy Finicum, look it up, because it's an incredible story, and it goes along with the federal land grabs that are happening. And it's uncalled for, unconstitutional, whatever they are down there. But I mean, I know, trust me, by not giving up those lands to the states that it's there. I mean, think about it. You're putting out all those people out of work, and I mean, that's another story for another day. But anyways, back to the situation here. If you're a teenager, and you're smoking dope, don't go overboard, okay? Don't go acting crazy and all that shit, okay? We haven't got there yet. As far as the federal government is concerned, legalize it and take the prohibition off, and that be done with it. Because if you don't legalize it and stop the prohibition of it and wipe out the hype and the bullshit, you're only going to create another black market targeting teenagers, and that's all you're going to do. It's not a gateway drug. It's not a killing drug. It is a form of a medicine. So I would back out of the equation and stop being a fucking bunch of assholes. Anyways, people, subscribe and show a like on this. If I want your comments. If you think I'm wrong about it, okay, about teenagers and all that. I mean, come on. I mean, hasn't the government lied enough? that you will now understand that enough is enough. You know, stop the raping and the pillaging and start acting as a government for the people and by the people. You know, I mean, Canadian-wide. I mean, American too. I mean, you know, it's time to get our governments to start listening, you know, and stop the bullshit. You know, I mean, we've reached the point now where we are all civil human beings, and we got to treat each other like almost like brothers and sisters. We've got to stop the bullshit and start addressing the poor and addressing the homeless and trying to better ourselves in our economy job-wise and make everything function. That's what the government's supposed to do. Help the functioning of the country, but not raping and pillaging our people. You know, it's there. Just look at it, and it's there, and you know it. You know, it's about time they come clean and do the right thing. I thank you for your time. Subscribe, put it in your comments below, and thank you for listening on YouTube.